Hi, it's Christina Myers, host of The Cena Life. In today's episode, we're going to look further at the August astrology forecast and all the shifts and changes that you have been feeling through this entire month, and also what's left as we make our way through the rest of the month. And we're also going to talk about walk-ins and how these particular soul contracts can impact many light workers these days, and how all of this is shifting and falling away as we move into this new state of consciousness. Let's get to it. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the podcast. I am so excited to have you here and to share this energy with you. Well, we are getting close to the end of August now, and how's your August going? I just have to laugh about it because I swear this has been the most interesting month of my entire life. I don't know about you, but there has been nothing but twists and turns. It feels like this really interesting mystery or thriller movie that we're all in right now. Just like what's coming next and what's going to pop up this hour or this day. And it seems to be shifting and changing literally by the hour at times, sometimes even more than multiple times in an hour of all the plot twists and turns and everything. And a lot of that is just due to all kinds of astrological changes that we have this month that's been going on. I broke all this down in the August astrology forecast. But this year is just a big year. It's a big year. It's a 7-year. It's the year of spirituality. It's the water rabbit year, which I talked about. That sounds sweet and gentle, but it's not. This is like death and rebirth. This is the deepest level of transformation that we can go to. And in order for us to shed and move into the spiritual plane, we have to shed the layers that have bogged us down for a long time. And we are certainly going through that process, especially this month. So as I'm recording this, it is now Wednesday, August 23rd, and it is, we're moved into the Virgo mansion today. So we are in the Virgo mansion, which, in essence would give us a lot of groundedness, a lot of stability, a lot of organization. But the shadowy side of Virgo is very much this very neurotic, anxiety-driven, nitpicky. There's a lot of, characteristics about Virgo. Virgo gets a really bad rap at times, but it also is the second most intuitive sign on the planet, with the zodiac, not the planet, but the zodiac. And it's very much about the body, about the functioning of the body, about the earth. It is a very healing and nurturing sign as well. So depending on how you want to work with the energy right now, as we've moved into this new earthy, grounded sign, that's up to you, how you want to work with it. But we have another twist to this, is that Mercury has gone retrograde today. And Mercury rules Virgo, and Chiron also rules Virgo. So we've got two big planets ruling Virgo, and one of them has gone into retrograde. The other one is a wound. It is a placement within our charts where there's a wounding under the surface that we have to really work through. And it's very unconscious in many ways. And I feel like that wound is really coming to the surface. So wherever Chiron is placed in your chart, there is a reckoning, a looking, a exploring, and unearthing of that particular piece right now that is coming to the surface. We also have another plot twist. So on the 28th of August, we have Uranus going retrograde as well. That will make a total of 7 planets in retrograde by the end of August. 7 planets. That is almost all the planets in retrograde. And so this is significant. This is where the breakdown is happening. So if you feel like everything in your life is falling apart, if you feel like there's things being revealed about people and situations that you just were not expecting, welcome to 7 planets in retrograde. Plus, we have this fire energy. We are in the absolute peak and heat of summer, and this fire energy activates this process Every year about this time, our bodies are overheated, our systems are overheated, the planet is overheated, things are drying up, things are irritated, they're irritable, they're very explosive. And so our fuses are short at this time of the year. And we're not only seeing this, within ourselves, we're seeing this on the planet. Fire element is on full display as we look at all the wildfires going on around the globe as well. So this energy is extremely strong. And then we're going to actually end the month with another super full moon. This is the third of 4 super full moons that we have had in a row. This one's going to be in the sign of Pisces. So Pisces is the spiritual plane. And we're really going to ask ourselves, what is the illusions? What are the illusions that have been hidden from us? What are the things that we have not been able to see? What are the things that need to be let go of that have been impeding our connection with spirit? That's a big one. That's going to be a very big theme of this full moon. And where are the hidden things? And there's a lot of things that have been coming up that have been revealing themselves slowly. But I believe this full moon is going to really amplify this. This lead up to the full moon is going to amplify this, especially with Uranus going in retrograde. This is going to bring some quick and sudden and big revelations to the forefront as well. So we have a lot of instability right now. We have a lot of shifts going on, and we have a lot of revelations going on. And this whole entire month has been this unearthing process, and it's not been smooth, and it's not been slow, and it's not been easy. But as I had talked about in the August astrology forecast, this is literally, we're stripping every layer back to the bone. We're getting back to bare bones. We have to clean the slate completely, which means all the timelines of all of our lifetimes are completely condensing on top of each other. This is the other reason you might be feeling a lot of pressure, a lot of heaviness. I am seeing this consistently, where all the timelines, all the lifetimes, everything that we've ever carried from any lifetime has literally collapsed into this space, this time. And you are feeling everything. So any unresolved contracts, any attachments that you have, anything within the energy field is being seen. It's being shown in a very big way. And this has been huge theme for all of my clients and everybody that I've been working with. The number of things that I am seeing in an energy field I have never seen before. We're talking, there's things in the millions and even the billions that we are seeing right now in the energy field. And it's because of this amplification of these timelines collapsing on each other. So literally everything that you have not unearthed is there. It's sitting on the surface. It's like this big boil that is ready to completely bust open. And this can be hard and this can be painful, but this can also is great news, because if we can consciously get our heads wrapped around this and you can tackle it, this means that we are moving into an era where we have a clean slate. We have a clean slate, and that is allowing us to move into this new consciousness. We've been all talking about this shift to the 5D consciousness, and we aren't able to shift until we let go of all the shit we're carrying. Like, we have to let go of the shit that we're carrying in order to move into this new consciousness. And that is the process that we're going through. So as hard as it's been, I am so optimistic. I am so hopeful. I am so joyful with the fact that this freedom that we have is right there at our fingertips. But it's not without there a lot of people wanting to keep control and keep us in this state and not allow us to step fully into this. And I talked about the darkness that has really reared itself on the last podcast I did. And man, they're just really on full force trying to get things going. And it's so clearly obvious what's up. it's so clearly obvious what is going on. And so anyway, there'll be more on that coming soon, very soon. That's all I'm going to say about that right now. But one of the big themes that I am seeing consistently is the theme around walk-ins. And so as these timelines are collapsing and as I'm seeing all these things shifting and all these big numbers coming up for what people are carrying, I am seeing this theme of walk-ins. And, you know, a lot of us who are empaths, a lot of us who are here that would consider ourselves empaths or more, you know, with the notion of you're a light worker, right? We tend to hold a lot of guilt. We tend to hold a lot of feelings of responsibility. We tend to feel like we need to hold the pain of other people. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And I see this a lot in the astrology charts. So when I'm reading a chart, I can see pretty much people who come to me who I would consider big empaths, people who are here to do big work. They either have created a very hard setup early in childhood, like very, very difficult setup. And that's just a consistent theme. You know, somewhere they've contracted to have a pretty hard setup in some form or fashion in some way. So I see that a lot. And then I see some very specific placements at times where there is a contract to hold the pain of other people. I personally had that in my chart. So that's been a big theme for me for sure. But what's been revealed to me recently is this whole idea around walk-ins. So I was familiar with walk-ins in the fact that that's just a kind of a common term that I hear a lot within the community of energetics practitioners, people who have been walk-ins in lifetimes. So a walk-in is a soul who okay, so let me say this. So there is a soul that comes into a body, and that soul has a contract to carry out a certain mission. And sometimes that mission involves some really hard stuff. They're like, okay, I'm going to volunteer to go down to earth and I'm going to do this. And some of it could be around genocide or slavery or sex trafficking or abuse in some way, like really heavy, dark stuff. And they get in there and then they go, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I can't do it. And there are some people who are pros at it. They're professionals. They're professional walk-ins. They've got this. They've been carrying the pain and shit for other people for lifetimes. And they go, okay, well, I'm going to come in. And so they step in to that soul. They push that soul out of that body. They step into the body. And then they take on all the karmic debt and contracts and cords and all the stuff associated with that soul and what that soul is supposed to do. They take it on. They contract it. And they tend to have a lot of contracts because they've done this over and over and over and over and over again. And a lot of this has begun because they had a lifetime where they had a setup. They were supposed to do something and they made a decision that went terribly wrong. And that decision ended up costing some people their lives. And the amount of immense guilt that they felt because of that situation has permeated over. And they decided to make a contract with, let's just say, some people that are not aligned to the highest order of light. And they are in a loop now. They're in a loop of just suffering. And if you had a childhood where you didn't remember some of your childhood, like you've completely, like you don't remember maybe up till age 5 or age 8 or something, like you don't have any memory of that, that's something to look at, that there is a possibility that indeed you don't remember that for a reason. there is a possibility that you could be a soul walk-in. And when you do this, you collect a lot of stuff in your energy field, a lot. And I have been seeing, these crazy numbers lately that I have never seen before. And a lot of it is because of the collapsing of the timelines. But some of this is because I am identifying that there are a lot of you out there, especially light workers, who are walk-ins. And you've got millions, if not billions, of contracts, cords of attachment, swords, energetic swords that you've taken, basically bullets you've taken for other people, trying to save them over and over and over again. And if you have a mentality of like wanting to like help everybody versus helping yourself and trying to save people and all of these crazy things that we do, especially as empaths, we are very tuned in to trying to help everybody else. This is one of the biggest lessons that you're going through right now, is releasing that programming, releasing the programming and saying to yourself, I am no longer responsible for anyone except for myself. I am no longer responsible for anyone but myself. That is a very freeing statement that you can make, because you're not responsible for anyone else but yourself. And I think this month has been that realization for many of you, that you've had these situations shown so bluntly in your face, and you have been confronted by people who have been very, very close to you, who are not who you thought they were. And all of these truths and visions and enlightenment has come forward to the forefront for you. And you're realizing now, oh, I need to put myself first. I truly need to put myself first. I am not responsible for anyone else but me. And everybody has to step up and do the work. Everybody has to do the work and take the responsibility for themselves. And this has also been the month of having to put in some really hard boundaries. A big no, a big, big no. And it's been a big no for many reasons, but mostly it's a big no for your own mental health and for your safety as well. And that's hard for a lot of people to hear. And it's really hard for a lot of these folks who are in a very low vibration to hear no. And they get very angry. They get very irritable. They get very defensive, vindictive when you tell them no. They have another agenda, by the way. But again, I will go into that at a later date. So it's very important for you to find your no. It's very important for you to find your hard boundaries. And I was listening to another really great person that I listen to sometimes, and she was talking about the fact that she's had to do double boundaries, double no's. A no is a no. We tend to bend sometimes around when people push back on us, and we go, oh my gosh, they're going to get mad at me. No, a no is a no. And that is something we have to be so cognizant about and very, very deliberate about now. So, big changes, big, huge changes this month. And these walk-ins are really important to examine for yourself, because if you listen to this podcast, you are coming here for a reason, and this message is here for you for a reason, for sure. And so sit with yourself, ask yourself if you've got tools that you can use, ask yourself about this. And then, generally there's going to be a lot of things that need to be unwound from the energy field around this, because again, the numbers that I'm seeing are like nothing I've ever seen before. It's crazy. And it makes a lot of sense as to why. So this full moon in Pisces that is coming at the end of the month is also going to be a very pivotal point for those of you who are aligned to the light, because this is really, truly about letting go of these types of things, right? Letting go of all of the stuff that you've built up that hasn't allowed you to fully connect in with source, hasn't allowed you to fully release and be free. And as we continue to kind of move through the year, the big thing that's been coming through for me as far as the elementals, yes, we're still in fire energy, and that's going to continue for a little bit longer. But the energy of water, the water element has been coming in strong. And of course, this is the water rabbit year. Now, water on the water rabbit tends to be very gentle. However, with Pisces playing a pretty significant role with this full moon, and as we move into the rest of the year, my guides just keep showing me water, like a lot of water, and a lot of flooding, especially environmentally. I'm seeing a lot of flooding happening. And water can be such a beautiful thing because it's very, it can hold the vibration, whatever the intention of the vibration you put into it, it can really hold that vibration. But it's also a cleansing mechanism. And I feel like what we're doing is we're cleansing spiritually. We're cleansing the aura. We're washing away all of these programs. We're washing away all of these contracts and attachments and everything that we've been holding. We're washing it away. And I think that Gaia is also needing a cleanse. She definitely needs a cleanse. And she needs a reset as well from all the karmic load that she's been carrying for all of us. It's a lot of load. And she needs a brand new cleansing as well. So I see the water element playing a very significant role. I also see that the heart chakra is going to be significant in the coming months and years. As we return back to ourselves, as we release all of this, what we're left with is just ourselves and our hearts. And it's through the love and the empathy and the compassion that we are able to truly permeate out into the world this whole unity consciousness, this whole feeling of love and oneness and connectedness. And that's been something we've really been missing for so long. And it's the heart chakra pieces that are the most significant. And there's no coincidence, like this year, the reason I was called to go to England this year, and I was called to go to Glastonbury, and so many light workers were called to go to Glastonbury this year to do that work. That's the heart chakra of the world. There is such significance of activating and doing the work that needed to be done in Glastonbury, because that is what is going to amplify us into this new timeline. This new consciousness is through the heart. And it's the heart chakras and those places in the world that represent that. That is where we need to be, in the heart, 100%. And just in peace, literally calm, peaceful states. No more of this erratic chaos. No more of this fighting, this duality, all of these things that we have been so conditioned and programmed into. It's really, truly about just releasing and letting it go. Letting it go. So I wish you all the best as you navigate through what is going on right now energetically, but know that everything is happening for you. And it truly is a hopeful time, a joyous time, a time of rebirth and renew on this planet. And for many of you, you've been waiting lifetimes for this. Lifetimes for this to come in. You've been waiting for it, and you have been working so hard to get here. And it really feels like we have turned the corner. So sending you lots of love and wishing you the best possible. Thanks for listening to this episode. You can find more information on sessions and classes at stinamyers.com or follow me on Instagram and TikTok at The Stina Life. If you've enjoyed this episode, please follow and review. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.